Okay, fourth grade, we are going to be doing this dolphin sunset for our ocean theme week. Today, we are just going to be doing our background. We're going to be blending colors. I'm going to teach you how to blend and how to create the water and the effects in the background. Next week, we will learn to draw the dolphin, and we'll talk about silhouettes. So for this week, we're just going to do the background, and if you notice, we actually have it divided into two sections. We have half of it is sunset and half of it is water. So the very first thing you're going to do is you're going to come down to about halfway down your page. Okay, it doesn't have to be perfect, but we want about halfway. You'll have a paint palette with these colors today. You're going to have your warm colors, your yellow, your red, and your orange. And then you're going to have your watercolors, which will be turquoise and blue. We will need a little bit lighter blue and a darker blue. And of course, all artists need white on their palette. So you will also have white as well. So if you notice right at the horizon, it's going to be our brightest color. So what we're going to do is we're going to lay a strip of white paint along the center. My brush is a little bit dirty, so that's okay. Close enough. Okay. We are also not going to be cleaning our brush today. We are going to do this in one sweep using one brush to create this. We're going to go from our lightest colors into our darker colors. I know when Miss Rucker paints, I hate to have to stop and clean my brush, so I try to do it this way anyway. I try to not have to clean my brush, so I'm going to show you how we can do this beautiful picture without even cleaning our brush. So we're going to lay that strip of white. Then we are going to pick up our next lightest color at the bottom, which would be our yellow. Now what I'm not going to do is go straight into my white with the yellow. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to show you how to correctly blend. If I'm going to blend this yellow into the white, I'm actually going to go a little bit above the white, and I'm going to lay that pure yellow. Does everybody see I have a pure yellow? Then once my brush is not so soaking wet with yellow, that's when I will pull it into the white, and that is what's going to cause that beautiful those beautiful values. You can really see the beautiful values go from lightest to darkest without any harsh lines. We call that a gradient in art. We want that beautiful gradient where it's all one cohesive piece, like it would really happen in nature. We also call that unity. You want it to have unity. You want it to be very blended. All right, so I'm going to add some little more yellow up here. Make sure you get your edges. All right, so now I'm going to go into my next lightest color, which will be my orange. And again, I'm not going to go straight into that yellow with this orange. You're going to get a harsh line. We don't want that. We don't want a really dark, harsh line. We want it to blend. So I'm going to take that orange first, and I'm going to sweep it across. Then I will pull it down into the yellow. Now what I don't want to do now is come all the way down to my white part. This is going to be the lightest part, so I don't want to bring it all the way down to my white. But look at how beautiful those colors, just the values just go from lightest to darkest. And then the very last thing we're going to do is we're going to pick up a little bit of this red. Now this red is very rich, so you don't need a whole lot of it. We're going to go up to the top. You don't need a whole lot of this red. And I'm going to blend. I'm going to blend into the orange, and I'm actually going to pull it on down into the orange. Make sure you get your edges. That's important. Make sure you get your edges. I'm going to come down in here and get my edge right there. Now I'm going to pull that red down into the orange. And look how you get that those beautiful blended colors. Again, I cannot stress this enough. Do not take your brush now and go into the bottom where the horizon is going to be, or you're going to lose your beautiful pure white yellow color. All right, so now that we're done with the sunset, I'm pretty happy with that. Now I am going to start on the water. Now, when you are dealing with a horizon, water that you can actually see all the way to the horizon, you will always notice that the water is always the darkest blue at the horizon. It's always going to appear a lot darker. And then as you move forward, the water gets lighter and lighter. So you also will notice that a horizon is perfectly straight across. This is what all artists struggle with, because a true horizon is always going to be perfectly straight across. So what you want to do is, see, I didn't even clean my brush, because in nature, all of these colors would be reflected in the water anyway. So that's okay that I have some red and some orange and all these different colors on my brush. That's okay. So I'm going to dip into my blue, and I'm actually going to load my brush. I'm going to get quite a bit of blue because I need to make a really thick, straight line across. So I definitely want to make sure I have enough paint. I'm going to put it on its tippy toes because that's going to give me a more crisp line. And I'm simply just going to try to get as straight as I can. And I'm going to start at the bottom here, and I'm going to go all the way across. We are not perfect, so do not worry if it is not a perfect line. I actually went in some of my white because that also helped blended it and helped the brush. It was just a lot smoother. The brush just ran across a lot smoother, so you can do that. All right, now, when I paint my water, I actually use little smiley face strokes. If you want to do that, you can do that. You don't have to. You can go straight across if you want. So I picked up a little bit more of that dark blue. But now I'm going to transition into my turquoise. So I want a lighter blue because remember, as the water becomes closer to you, it's going to appear lighter. So now I'm going to use the same technique that I blended my sky. I am going to take that turquoise, I'm going to lay it down, and then I'm going to move up into the blue and blend. Okay, I just kind of want those colors kind of scattered throughout that dark blue. Okay, now I'm going to pick up white. And this is where the magic really happens. Now I'm going to blend that white. See, I already have blue on my brush, so it's not going to come out a pure white. So I've got these beautiful lighter colors. Pick up some white. Beautiful. Now make sure I get my edges. That's important. Now I can even pull some of this white. Whoops. I can even pull some of this white up into the back. That's okay. I can do that, like some highlights on the water. You're definitely going to see highlights on top of the water. All right, and I don't want a harsh, crisp line. So if I look down and see that I've got any straight lines, I'm going to blend. That means Miss Rucker did not blend very well. So I'm going to go back and really blend those colors, mix those colors. Don't be afraid to mix colors as an artist. Everything usually has a little bit of different colors within it anyway. All right, do you see that nice gradient? Do you see the nice unity, that it looks like water, that it's all one piece? I don't have like just a dark blue strip and a light blue. It's all kind of mixed in together. All right, so when you're done with that, if you would like, you can dip your finger. Miss Rucker uses her fingers a lot to paint. I've found that my fingers are actually my best blending tools. So I'm going to dip my finger in the yellow because the sun is going down. It's going to appear a little more yellow than white. And I'm just going to create a circle. And you can put your sun wherever you want, and you may not even want a sun. And that's okay. This just happens to be where my dolphin's going to jump. And you can even make your sun as big as you want. Doesn't matter. It's your picture. These are just ideas. And then the very last thing we're going to do is we're going to create these little splashes where the dolphin is coming out. So what you're going to do is you're going to go directly in the white. And when that dolphin is jumping out of the water, it's going to be, you're going to actually have a longer line at the bottom, and it's going to get smaller as you go up. So what you're going to do is you're going to figure out where you want your dolphin, wherever you want him jumping out of the water, and you're gently going to tap, tap, tap. Tap, tap, tap. And you're going to almost create like a triangle, because as as the dolphin jumps, it's going to create almost like a little fountain of water. You're going to very gently, it does not take a lot of paint, you're going to very gently tap, tap, tap. So we're going to create that little, you can even put some little splashes off to the side, very gently, okay, very, very gently. If you put too much, it's going to ruin your picture. All right, and then what we're going to do is we're going to add some highlights right where the sun is directly in front of the water. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just gently put my finger in the yellow, and I can even mix a little white with it. These are really great highlight colors. And I'm going to gently sweep across right in front of the sun. And as it gets closer to you, it's going to get smaller. So it almost creates this V. So the highlights are going to really come out here at the horizon. And then the moon also does this. When it reflects on water, it'll start getting smaller and smaller as it gets closer to you. But right up underneath the sun, at the horizon, it's going to be wider. And you just want a few little highlights right there where the sun is going down. I'm barely pressing with my finger, just enough to kind of clean my finger. Okay, and that's what I love about nature. It's so random, so you can never mess up. It's so random. You're going to have light splashing everywhere and reflecting everywhere. All right, so this is all we're doing today. Next week, we will be doing our, we'll talk about silhouettes, and we'll be practicing our dolphin. All right, have fun. When you're done with this, bring it to the drying rack, get a wipe, clean your hands and your mat. Above all, have fun.